Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Muiz bin Mat Nasir from IC110-4DB. Student number 2019-410618 will present about pillars and conditions of Tawarruq. A Tawarruq is actually a product of muamalat, which is the result of a combination of several al-bai' contracts, sales and purchase at once. This discussion on the pillars of al-Tawarruq refers to the debate on the pillars of akad itself. Referring to the views of the majority of scholars of the sect Maliki, Shafi'i and Hanbali, al-bai' contains three pillars as follows. First of all, in buying and selling using bai' tawarruq, the parties involved in performing the contract al-muta'akidan, namely the seller, muwarriq, and also the buyer, mutawarriq, are among the main pillars in buying and selling. For this contract, it is different from bai' al-inah because the party involved have 3% or more, the seller, buyer and the last buyer. As in modern contract, it occurs between the customer, bank and broker. Next is the wording of the contract al-sirah, which contains the elements of offer, ijab and acceptance, qabul. This statement of akad is made by all three parties who participating in doing the contract, either in the first contract process or in the second contract process, as a sign of agreement to the occurrence of the contract. Finally, the third pillar agreed upon by the three scholars of this set is the existence of commodities, that is, goods to be sold and bought, maqud alaih. Meanwhile, according to the scholars of Al-Hanafiyah, it is stated that the pillars of al-bai' are only two, namely ijab and qabul, which are involved in the process of purchasing goods. Next, I will continue my presentation on conditions of tawarruq. The condition for bai' tawarruq are in accordance with each of the pillars that have been set in the sale and purchase contract. Firstly, conditions set for contracting parties. The first is in accordance with the condition to the parties involved in the execution of the contract. For both parties to the contract, they must have the qualification, which is ahliyah al-aqda, in terms of perfection of mind, such as being insanity. Secondly, condition set for wording, sirah. The second condition is in terms of the wording sirah, which is offer, ijab and qabul. The offer, ijab and acceptance, qabul must be carried out in one ceremony only, without being entangled with other matters, including the duration of the contract, that which is too long. Lastly, conditions set for subject matter. Subject matter that are the commodities of this bai' al-tawarruq, sale and purchase agreement must meet the following conditions, like the commodity or goods for sale must be available at the time of the contract is executed and owned by the seller itself, differently from other contracts. Furthermore, I will also explain a little bit under the title The Application of Tawarruq in Islamic Investment, which is Tawarruq in Islamic Investment. At the beginning of the establishment of the Islamic banks in Malaysia, most of the products were produced and offered to the customers in the particular to get cash is based on contract by al-inah. This concept is used in the banking system and the capital market Islam in Malaysia to meet the various needs of market participants. Generally, bai' al-inah is referred to a contract involving dealings the sale and repurchase of assets by the seller. In this transaction, the seller sells assets to the buyer in cash and then buy them in deferred payment at higher price than the sale price in cash. It can also happen when the seller sells an asset to the buyer on a deferred payment basis and then repurchase it in a cash at a price lower than the selling price delayed. That's all from me. Thank you.